things outside the car. I tried to get a TikTok live going, but sometimes it does struggle to come on. I usually TikTok live my way to go pick up Grant. It is about a 20-minute drive there, so I can guarantee you this video won't be more than 20 minutes. It's actually like 19, so depending on traffic. But I do like to video my drives there. You never know what you're going to see on the street. I drive for a living, so when I work, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing delivery, and I'm probably the only person in our family. Like, I take truck to work, I take Grant to work. Like, I drive a lot, is what I'm trying to make. And I see some crap, man. I'm a good driver, I'm a safe driver, I drive the speed limit, and people be crazy out here. So I've been turning the video on because I have caught some really crazy just drivers and stuff. I know it's just a matter of time before, you know, I catch a wreck or, you know, something. Anyway, it also gives me an opportunity to just chat. And, oh, I gotta put it in gear. To just chat, and it gets some things off my chest. I've made some videos that are just kind of like sitting in my phone. And so I was like, you know, it couldn't hurt to just try to, you know, find an audience. You know, maybe if just one person watches and is like, oh yeah, I feel that way too. You know, it might help them. I'm working very hard to be my authentic self. And that's hard because I have not been my authentic self for most of my life, and I'm about to be 56. In my 30s, from my early 30s to 40s, I'm gonna stop at Sonic. I have got to get like a water. My mouth is parched. It's so hot in this car. From 30s to 40s, I think I was just really angry. I was just really, really angry at everything. That period really showed me that life is not what I thought it was. It's weird because like I can be kind of negative, but I'm also rose-colored glasses at the same time. And honestly, that's just my personality. It's very much in the both spectrum conundrum, because when it comes to other people, I have a tendency to just believe probably better of a person than that person even believes of themselves. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't know, I guess they say that you expect people to be the person you are, and because I try to be a good person, maybe that's why. Well, hang on, let me order water. Hi, can I just get a large ice water?
Alright.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all. Okay, thank you. Anyway, I've had people tell me that I'm negative before, but I really don't think that I'm just like a negative person. Okay, so I'm neurodivergent. I know without a shadow of doubt, I don't have a diagnosis, but I have autism. I'm definitely on that Asperger's scale, 100%. And I know me better than anybody else, and so I can tell you what's going on. And so many times people have tried to tell me, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, and I'm like, I'm really not. I'm not in denial, I promise. I'm literally looking to you to help me find answers. Please help me find answers. But I'm also not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a doctor and you have a degree, you've known me for 5 minutes, and you think I'm schizophrenic? Okay, then I must be schizophrenic. No, I'm not that stupid. Also, by the way, no one has ever diagnosed me as being schizophrenic, so that was just an example. But I had doctors tell me that, you know, oh, you're bipolar. And the first thing I didn't argue with him. I was like, okay. This was before the internet, I went straight to the library and spent half a day there looking up everything I could find about bipolar disorder. And I read, and at the end of the day, the conclusion I came to was, I can see how you would think that I'm bipolar, but I'm really not. It's the ADHD. I promise. It is the ADHD causing what you're calling bipolar. And if we can just fix the ADHD symptoms, I don't think any of those bipolar symptoms are going to show up anymore. So I just really, I don't know, I don't vibe with the whole bipolar thing. A lot of this stuff is just labels, and, you know, sometimes I use them to help people understand, you know, this is who I am. But I don't really, like, own them. So, anyway, let me just tell you a story about when I was in Plano, when I was working at a store in Dallas called Dash Mart, and I was there for almost a year, and I worked the night shift, so I came in at like 6 p.m., and from like 6 to 10, there was like an overlap crew, because it was kind of busy in the evening, especially on the weekends. So there were like 5 people there, and then they had been there earlier in the day. They would leave, and then it would just be like me and Joe and Faith, usually. We were like the night crew. And then Hayden was there for a little while. He was a manager. Then we got this new manager who was kind of a bitch, and she ran him off. And it just literally ended up being me and Joe and Faith. And so it was a big ass warehouse for 3 people, and we had little walkie-talkies because sometimes, you know, we couldn't just yell across the warehouse. It was too big. And it was like a store in a warehouse. It was like almost like a grocery store. Aisles and aisles and aisles of product on both sides. Chips, candy, soup, sauces. Like, we had in the back, there was like personal things. I mean, condoms, toothbrush, toothpaste, mouthwash, over-the-counter medicine, every kind of pain reliever you could think of. You know, like, sometimes we would get like nail polish and flowers in. Like, it was literally a giant warehouse with a freaking store in it. But we didn't have a cash register or money. It was owned through DoorDash, and so if you've ever ordered anything off of the DoorDash app through Dash Mart, they have we were the 15th one in the nation open, and so they've probably got 20 of them now. I think DoorDash overall is doing pretty bad, but this was 2 or 3 years ago. And let me tell you, we were popping. And so you would order whatever you needed 24 hours a day through the app, and we had it. Ice cream was a big seller. We had like 17 coolers in there, and we had to keep that ice cream stocked. It was not fun. But the point I'm trying to make to you, I'm setting up this picture of this warehouse that I worked in. I was the night person. You know, we did a lot of restocking and organizing. The day guys were pretty steadily busy, and so they didn't usually question. They just let us do that. Plus, overnight crew was inventory crew. So we needed to have things a certain way so we could stay on top of that inventory. So I noticed something about my personality working there, because I'd never worked in a warehouse before, and that when I walked in at night, if the day crew had moved something, I could feel it before I could put my finger on it. It was visual, but it wasn't pinpoint visual. It was just when you're like, something's different. Let me look a little bit deeper, and I'll tell you what it is. And then literally I would be like, why did they shift the ketchup down 4 feet? Like, why did they do that? And then I would get somebody, and they're like, oh, well, it should be over here near the ranch. And I'm like, you know, oh, or should it be over here with the tomato sauce? Like, and that's like, I don't think that ever happened. That's just, you know, an example. But the point I'm trying to make is that I could literally see it and feel it when something was wrong. And that gave me an insight into my personality, because that's just literally how I am. I am hardwired to find the problems. And it's not because I'm just like so negative, because I don't feel like negative in my heart. I'm just literally saying, this is what this is. You know, it's like if you're walking down the road and there is a pile of dog poop on the side of the road, you can be like, oh, look, it's dog shit. Let's not step in it. And then you walk around it, right? But a negative person would be like, oh God, there's flowers. Don't step in the flowers. Like, oh God, somebody's gonna pick them and they're gonna die. And it's that kind of a difference. For me, it's literally just an identifying something and stating what is quite obvious to me. And it's not an over emotional negativity thing. The emotion's not in it. I have emotion, trust me. It shows up in a lot of places, but that's really not it. So it frustrates me when people call me negative. I've been to 2 neurologists in the last 3 years, and one neurologist, she spent 3 hours testing me. The second one didn't test me as long. It was some of the same tests, but a little bit different. The first one, I was kind of like, I'd never done it before, so it was new and different. And here's my water. Hi, hon. I'm good. Thank you so much. Here you go. Have a great day. Anyway, she tested me for 3 hours, and then she went over the results with me. And she was like, she said, your results are really interesting. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. This video is going to be longer than 20 minutes because I stopped at Sonic and they're really busy right now. Hang on. Oh, that is so good. I'm just going to dump this water out right here. She was very encouraging. She said, I've never seen anything like this before. She said, we test to see how well people take in information. And then we test to see how fast you can process that information. And then we test to see how fast you can spit that information back out. And I did notice that was, there was a lot of the test of just, having a problem, figuring it out, and giving them, the assessment of it. And I don't remember exactly. Oh, good. It said low. Why is it saying low battery? Oh, because the car was turned off. Okay, good, but it's still going. Anyway, she said, I've never seen anyone score like in the 99th percentile in all 3 of those. She said, usually one of them is significantly lower. Most people just score like around the 70th percentile in one of them. She said, your brain is literally like a computer, the way that it functions. Which is weird. She said that, but then she still wouldn't go into an autism diagnosis for me. She just kind of skimmed right by that. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Like, she did not seem interested. Another kind of sketchy thing she did, this was the only sketchy thing she did, is that she'd ask me a lot of questions, and I answered them honestly. Some of them were hard because she said things like, have you self-harmed? And I'm like, well, yeah, before, but it's been a while. And she's like, well, when have you self-harmed? And I was like, well, like when I was a little girl, like, oh my God, like before I even had Cody, when I was like in junior high and high school, is when this self-loathing started because I was being bullied and picked on by people. And nobody would do anything about it. It was just something I had to learn how to live with. And it went on for a few years, and I just remember feeling worthless, and I would cut my fingernails all the way back. And sometimes I would like claw my face. I would stick things in the skin of my face until it hurt. And our family home had hardwood floors. It was an old house built in the 40s, and it'd be cold in the winter, but I would get out of my bed and I would make myself sleep on the floor because in my head, I didn't deserve to have a bed. I was trying to make myself suffer because I'm not really sure. Like, I feel like I really loved myself up until then. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that I shared a few things like this with her, and I'm like, I haven't done it in a long time. I think it was just a kid thing. Like, I internalized it for sure for many, many years. And then just within the last 10 years, I've been learning how to say, no, I don't want to feel that way anymore. And, I'm scared to be my authentic self, but fuck it, I'm going to be my authentic self. And basically, it's just because I don't have anything to lose anymore. I'm almost 56 years old. When you get past like 45, 50, you really just start waking up because you're like, I literally could die tomorrow and nobody would bat an eye. Like, no one's going to say, oh, she died too soon. Like, my friends from junior high and high school are kicking off left and right. I got a list a mile long of my friends that have passed away. My friend Kelly passed away last month. She's 10 years younger than me, of a stroke. Like, it's frightening. And I just get to this place where I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing I've been doing. I've literally wasted my whole fucking life being afraid of being my authentic self. And, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to be myself. So, anyway, borderline personality is what it was. When we went over it, she was like, okay, so I just want to go over these results with you, and you entered this way on this one. Are you sure it wasn't this? And I was like, maybe. I mean, it could have been, but in my mind, I'm like, why are you questioning my answers? Like, I didn't just breeze past them, you know? I sat there and thought about them, and I gave you the best answer I could. She literally, I felt like she coached me into a borderline personality disorder. And then it was after the fact that I found out that she specializes in borderline personality disorder. So I'm like, bitch, who are you in bed with? What pharmaceutical rep are you fucking, or like, I don't know. There's something fucking sketchy there. Anyway, she gave me my results back, and I was just like, you know what? You can take your borderline personality disorder assessment and shove that up your ass. You can take your bipolar crap and keep that too. I know what I am. I'm autistic. I'm on the Asperger's scale. I'm ADHD. I have really bad executive dysfunction sometimes. I need something to help me focus. I need something for energy. That also, it's been helping with the pain. I need something for my depression and anxiety. I might need a little bit of therapy, and I was okay with learning that my brain functions like a computer because it fucking explains a lot. And also, she said my IQ was 119, which I felt, this is the first assessment I had years ago. And when she said 119, I was like, when I was in in college, I got IQ tested by a therapist. And I don't remember what my score was way back then, but I do remember he gave me an application to join Mensa. And I didn't know what Mensa was, but I looked it up and I found out that you have to have an IQ of at least 130 to join Mensa. And so I'm guessing it was of 130. I do remember something he said that stuck with me when he was going over my results with me. He said, your creativity level is off the charts. So I don't know if that relates to what Dr. Bath said about my brain functioning like a computer. But yeah, anyway, she said my IQ was 119. And I was thinking, well, damn, I guess, you know, getting older, it's just kind of gone downhill a little bit. I feel like that wasn't a correct assessment just because she kind of poo-pooed my ADHD. She was like, yeah, you didn't score very high for ADHD. And I'm like, okay, well, if I didn't score high for ADHD, it's because of this. Number one, you don't know shit about ADHD. Like, I talked to her about reading the book Driven to Distraction. She'd never even heard of it. And I'm like, literally, how can you be in this profession and have never heard of the book Driven to Distraction? It is a groundbreaking book when it comes to people with ADHD. Like, I don't understand how she can be a neurologist and have not read that. Anyway, she didn't know anything about Driven to Distraction, or honestly any of the ADHD books that I told her, you know. So anyway, she was like, oh yeah, you didn't score very well on ADHD, you know, like kind of, you haven't. And I'm like, you have me in a new setting around new interesting people in this big beautiful office away from work, and I'm playing games. Like, of course I'm not going to present as ADHD. I'm in my element. I'm hyper-focused on this challenge of showing you how smart I am. Like, of course I'm not. Now, you make me come here every day for the next week, and you're going to see that ADHD, because I'm going to get fucking bored of this place, and I'm going to get bored of you, and you'll see that the eye contact will go elsewhere, and you will see me playing on my phone more, and you will see me not doing as well on your test, because I've done this test 50 times. Like, do you not understand ADHD? That was super frustrating. Anyway, this past year, when I moved to Conroe, I got retested, and that time, my IQ test showed up as 125. So I'm like, all right, my brain's not declining as much. I feel like I can get that up. I don't know, IQ is important to me because I'm ugly and I'm old, and so I've really wasted my IQ. I was an honor roll all through school. School was easy. All that shit they teach you. I was a one and done person. It's like, tell me, test me, okay, stop talking about it. Like, I just made good grades all through school, and I did not apply myself at all. I was always getting in trouble. I was getting kicked out of school. I switched schools. I was talking in class. Like, it was just all too easy for me. They switched me to advanced classes, and I don't know, I just wasn't studious. I wasn't interested in all that stuff. Taking a sip of my water. When I did finally have Cody in 1987, I decided to go to school, got my GED, and I started going to college. I went to a trade school, and I was just like, oh my God, hell no, these people are fucking stupid. Like, I feel like I sold myself out. I went for a couple of months, and I was so bored. I did learn a few things there, but I was like, I cannot do this for a whole year. So I ended up quitting that. The ADHD set in hard. And I didn't enjoy the people I was around. And honestly, I think that's why I have social issues. I don't always enjoy the people I'm around. And it's not an ugly thing. I don't think they're bad people. I don't want to seem like I'm being arrogant. But there's very few people in my life who challenge me intellectually that make me feel like stimulated. And I need to fix this phone. Stop doing that. That make me feel like I'm having a conversation worth having. A lot of the time it's just, I don't know. I have a few friends that I can have that conversation with. I have a friend, I'm not going to say her name. Bless her heart. I do love her. We're in a falling out. She'll probably never talk to me again. I don't care. She just is a people pleaser. And we were actually spending a lot of time together a few years ago. And she just did so many stupid things. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. She was kind of like a freshman girl that's horny, lives around a bunch of senior boys, who just wants to be popular and fuck all the guys and just get really, really drunk. Like, that's literally all she wanted to do. And what really was the kicker for me, where I was just like, I'm not a fan of this relationship anymore, is that when we were together, we would talk about some spiritual things and political things, and she would be like, oh yeah, I'm all for human rights, oh yeah, and she would completely agree with me on all accounts. But then she'd get on Facebook, she'd go spend a weekend with her country Texan friends. We're in Texas. She'd go spend a weekend with her country friends, and she'd start talking about Jesus. And I'm like, we just had this conversation about Jesus. Why are you pro-Jesus now? I'm confused. But she had to be, she's a Gemini, she has to be the person that around who she was around. And then during COVID, she sent me the QAnon things, and I watched them, and I contemplated them, and I researched them. And then I presented back to her, and I hate to break it to you, but this is a load of bullshit. Like, research this stuff. And she's like, oh no, so-and-so said, like, but what if this? And there was just a point in there where I was like, you've lost your fucking mind. You're spending so much time with these Republicans, and you're filling your head with what's coming through, and you need to please them so bad that you've literally lost any critical thinking skills you may have had. And I just had to end the friendship. And it wasn't an ugly thing. I wish her the best. I mean, I think about her and I love her, but I struggle. It's me. It's all me. I struggle being in relationships like that. Like, I'm one of the people, it's like, why would I keep, a piece of furniture in my house that I don't use? Throw that shit away. And I don't mean throw people away, but and it's not like take the furniture and go put it in the dumpster and burn it. It's like, this piece of furniture is not working for me. It's taking up space in my apartment. Let me give it to somebody else so they can find some use for it. That's what I mean. And it's the same, honestly, I know it sounds horrible. It's the same way with people in my life sometimes. It's like, you're a wonderful person, but it's not a good fit for me in my life, this friendship. And I feel myself using energy that I barely have for myself, trying to navigate the nonsense that you're throwing at me. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to end up not liking you at all if this continues to be in my face. And so I actually unfriended her on Facebook, and she lost her shit. I wanted to stay friends, but I just didn't want to see all that Facebook stuff. But for some people, your Facebook friendship, like, that is the sign of a true friendship. And for me, it's not. That's not even. In fact, if I really like you and I want to stay friends with you in real life, I will probably avoid at all costs having you on my Facebook. Because my Facebook is my inner circle of people that I know I can say anything at all in front of, and they're not going to do anything, and that's just maybe like 10 people. And then my internet friends that actually believe the exact same way I do, and we're just 100% like, yeah, sister, preach, and then maybe some randos here and there, and that's it. Anyway, that was that with that friend. And the same thing. I went through the same thing with my ex-husband because, after 18 years, he was so into religious stuff, and I was just leaving. Like, I didn't want to do religious stuff anymore. And I'm like, it's not fair to you. Like, I don't like being around you anymore. I don't like religious stuff anymore. I definitely don't want to have sex with you anymore. And that's not fair to you. And for him, he was like, oh no, we can't get divorced. We have to work through this. Because to him, going to counseling would make me want to do the things that he wanted to do. And I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was nothing, nowhere, anywhere that was going to make me want to do the things that he wanted to do, which was go to church, enjoy his company, and have sex with him again. Basically, he wanted me to spend money a certain way, and I was done with that. 18 years. I scrimped and saved, and now I spend money the way I want to spend money. I don't have to deal with, all of that stuff. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that just like the piece of furniture in my apartment that needs a better home, and just like my other friend, I released him back into the wild so that he could go and find his good Christian woman and, have sex with her, whatever, more power to you, buddy. He's kind of a dick to me, and it really does. It's a struggle for me. I have struggles with him because and that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just don't have a lot of mental energy for people that are not stimulating me intellectually. It's been a reoccurring thing in my life that I'm not around people that intellectually stimulate me. And I've been in the fucking service industry my whole life. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the bulk of my friendships being with drug addicted, pill addicted, like students and cooks and servers and bartenders? Like, I don't know. It's been a struggle. Why did I do that? I should have gone to college. I just should have fucking gone to college. I should have got an education. I should have found highly intelligent people to hang out with. I don't know. Anyway, I'm here. It's been 27 minutes, so if you've listened, thank you. I know I probably sound like a judgmental bitch. I'm really not. I love everyone. I'm very rational in my thinking, and I very much rationalize even relationships, and I know if friendships are a good fit for me and what works for me, like the service industry people, I've met some great people in the service industry. I've met some awful people in the service industry. That's any industry. What time is it? Oh God, it's 5. He's going to be pulling out here any minute. Anyway, I got to go. Thank you for listening. I love you. I swear I'm not a judgmental bitch. I'm just a weird autistic girl. I really, really do love and value people. And yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Well, there's Devin.